Now we are going to be joined by a group that I'm so delighted to have you here. This is both Scott and Jenny, and I am going to have, he gave me the phonetic pronunciation.
I can do it.
Koenigsknecht. Yeah.
Did I do it right?
Excellent. Very well done.
And it is, I can do the part that says
I can't spell it, but it has 13
no
letters.
more sidelines. That I can handle. And we had last year, and this has also been Autism Month, right? And we had last year, and we're so delighted to have you here this year. We devoted, during Autism Month, to a number of special segments to try to help educate the community about this really crucial issue. And I was thinking just the other day, I hate to say this to you, but I just don't understand why people are not down in front of the Capitol just screaming that we need more money in research and in treatment and in support for families. What does No More Sidelines?
No More Sidelines is a community group that is headed up by my wife Jenny and I and 7 other members of our board. And we provide fully funded athletic and community activities for children with all disabilities, but a lot of the children that we serve and their families have autism. Very simply speaking, what we do is we partner with local high school teams and we have fully integrated athletic events for children with disabilities. Again, many of them have autism. So we work, coming up, actually a great example is this coming Saturday, we'll be partnering with the Waverly Warrior swim team. And we ask the coach to have his swimmers or her swimmers come in to join us. And then we market to children and their families who have disabilities. And we come together and we compete in a sense.
Oh.
And so we have our athletic contests. But they're fully integrated, which makes it different than Special Olympics. Special Olympics is a wonderful organization, but that's children with special needs competing with children with special needs. And we feel very strongly about integrating the non-disabled peers with our children with disabilities.
So this is a sort of mainstreaming.
It is, yeah. It's an athletic kind of a mainstreaming actually, and we also do other community kinds of events as well that get the children and their families out into the community, enjoying very similar things that their non-impaired peers would be able to enjoy.
Jenny, how did you get involved?
Well, my son Cooper is 10 years old now, and in 2007 he was diagnosed with autism. My husband Scott is very involved in the education world. He has served as a teacher, a principal, and a superintendent of a local school district. And most recently, his position with intermediate school district leadership has allowed him to become introduced to a group in Muskegon who actually founded No More Sidelines, and he wanted to do something. Once our son was diagnosed, he thought, you know, I'm very passionate about this. I want to bring something to Central Michigan. So that's how we decided 6 years ago to start the organization.
For something like the swim meet, what accommodations do you have to make, or what arrangements do you have to make this work?
Well, the swim meet is one of my favorite activities that we do with our kids, because when you get the children in the pool, you really can't tell who has the disability.
Oh, great.
And that really drives home the point of why we do what we do in terms of fully integrating children. So the swim meet is one of the easier things that we're able to do, because people like to get in the pool, they like to swim, they like the water. But some of our children are in wheelchairs, and so there's a lift at the pool that we use to get the children into the pool. And we run into that with some of our other activities as well. But we always find a way to make it work. We call ourselves No More Sidelines, and we are very serious about that. We want all children with all types of disabilities to come out and play.
And of any age. And there's no restriction on age. You know, a lot of times people will call and say, you know, how young, you know, do you accept kids? You know, I have a child that's, I shouldn't say a child, but a son or a daughter that's, you know, transitioning, 26, 27, and we're very open to bringing.
Oh, so adults as well, they don't
Absolutely.
even have to be in school.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Our organization often that has these events, we have kids that are typically between the age of 5 and I'm going to say probably 19, but on occasion we have had an adult that has been in their 30s or 40s, and that's pretty cool to think that there's something out there that they can participate in as well.
Have you seen a change of attitude in just the 10 years, really maybe 5 years that you've been involved toward autism? Either of you could answer.
You know, not having a lot of experience with special needs myself, especially in our community, I have seen just a tremendous outpouring of support in the community that we live in the other 3 counties that we facilitate our events in. People have come forward. You know, we have one fundraiser a year, but it is just, it's amazing. We generate between $7,000 and, you know, up to $10,000 a year, and that really, really helps us to put on. We feed all of the people that come, typically around 200 people at all of our events. We have giveaways that we give to the children. We have giveaways that we also give to the athletes that come forward, the typical athletes, as a thank you. We want them to go home with something. We provided tumblers, we provided notebooks, beach towels we're giving away this weekend. And we're having a raffle for our kids, I should say a raffle, a drawing. So our special needs kids also get to go home with something neat.
It seems like every other week we see that they revise the number downward of what it was once 1 in 100 and some, and now what were the most recent figures about the number of children who are born somewhere on the spectrum?
It's about 1 in 50.
1 in 50. And I mean, it seems to me that is an epidemic that really has gone unrecognized for a long time. Does this organization, by doing these things, it would seem that you're drawing attention also to the need that we have a lot of these children in our community. We need to find out why this is happening, and we need political and policy support to be able to do the research and provide the kinds of treatment.
Certainly creating awareness is exactly what you're talking about. You know, we are really, really focused in on that, and that's why we like to involve and really fully integrate our activities, because it goes beyond children with disabilities. And we like to tell people when we have an event, everybody benefits. You know, our children with disabilities benefit because it gets them a chance to get out amongst their non-impaired peers, gives an opportunity to be part of a team. We fundraise, as Jenny had said, so all of our athletes have their own jerseys. They get to wear their own jerseys. And so it really gives them a sense of belonging. We really feel that it gives the general ed students or the non-disabled students, it really is a great activity for them too. At first they may be a little apprehensive because sometimes our children look a little different, they may sound different. Some can walk, some can talk, some can't. But I talk with the general ed peers right away and say, you know what, all we ask you to do is to play with our kids with disabilities, because that's all they want, is to be part of a team. And I'll tell you, it happens at every event. Those general ed kids will come up to us and thank us profusely for giving them that opportunity to interact with our kids with disabilities.
I think it reduces bullying. It does all sorts of things to help integrate them into the broader community. And at the same time, I'm really hoping as well that I'm thinking of all of the things that you have to do to try to build support in the community. How do you handle different kinds of sport? What is your upcoming calendar looking like? Do you go to a coach of, say, a basketball team and say, let's do something? How does your calendar work?
You know, we try to stick to some things that are pretty popular. One of the events that has been huge for us has been soccer. Basketball, absolutely. We will get anywhere between 30 and 50 kids for those sorts of events. And of course we invite family and friends to come. So like I said, afterwards we provide a luncheon, and we typically feed between 150 to 200 people at each event.
So what you need next is a pro player of some sort and a college player.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
Take you under your eye, because you see what happens when that happens.
Yeah.
You know, we have done events at the university level. We have been up to Central Michigan University for 2 or 3 years, and we have an indoor track meet with their track team. And so we partner with them. We also have been out to Michigan State University and partnered with their women's field hockey team. And 3 years ago, we were extremely fortunate to be invited out to play football with the MSU football team at the Duffy Doherty indoor facility.
Wow.
And so we ran a punt, pass, and kick clinic is kind of how we packaged that for the kids. And that was just a fantastic event, and the MSU football players were just fantastic. So we have done and partnered with some local universities as well.
Well, I have a football player in mind who's been in one of my classes that I think I'm going to have to tap and tell him about your organization, because that is the kind of thing that can help draw attention. Early intervention when a child is diagnosed is critical, and being able to provide the kind of stimulative exercises and so forth. Sports is part of that matrix, isn't it? And what kinds of So do you try to get kids as young as possible involved in this? I'm assuming that this activity is really good for the kids as well.
It really, really is. And looking back at our own personal experience, when our son was newly diagnosed, transitions and new environments were extremely hard for him. Going new places was very difficult. He would often scream and tantrum if somebody new was introduced to him. But we kept pushing forward as parents because we knew that the community had to become aware and accept him and accept our family. So a lot of times our events have families with children, just like our son started out many, many years ago. And it's called, our events, we say, are not chaotic free, it's organized chaos. And sometimes parents will bring their child and just to have an outlet, and that child may not go into the gymnasium. He or she may just walk around the cafeteria or outside the pool. And for the family, that's very rewarding because it's a family outing. It's a successful family outing for them. And maybe the next time the child might, you know, have a little bit more courage or be that much more mature and older and able to actually participate in something. So it's baby steps, absolutely.
Jenny brings up a good point that some folks, unless you've walked in the shoes of a child with a disability and their family, is when a child's diagnosed with a disability, the whole family's really diagnosed with a disability, especially with autism. There were a number of years we were, in a sense, prisoners in our own home. We couldn't take our family to typical places that most families go because Cooper really struggled with those transitions. And this, as Jenny had said, gave us an outlet where we could provide something for him, but also for other families. And I talk with the regular ed peers, again, before the event. I kind of prep them and I tell them, you know, look up in the stands or look over in the bleachers or out on the grass and watch the families interact with one another, because very seldom do these families have an opportunity to talk to other families who have children with disabilities. And so when we talk about the benefit, we talk about the benefit for our kids with disabilities, the benefit for the general ed peers, and then the benefit for the families as well. We really feel that everybody benefits when they come to a
someone wanted
Sidelines
to,
event.
if they were a coach and wanted to get involved, how do they get in touch with you?
We have a website. It's www.nmscentralmichigan.org. We also have a Facebook page. We have an email address, and our email address is nomoresidelines@casera.net. If there is an interested coach or anybody that wants to provide a social activity, feel free to contact us at any time. We're always open to new ideas. We have not set our calendar for next fall yet and are definitely looking for new opportunities.
As Jenny had said, we try to do one activity per month. Again, we feel very strongly to give families at least one activity per month. We have done, she mentioned just a few, but we have done bowling, soccer, basketball, do t-ball, baseball, softball. We have a homecoming dance for our kids, and we partner with a local team. Though it's not an athletic event, it's kind of a community event. And so we provide hair and makeup services for the kids. We partner with a local bridal store that gives the young ladies their dresses for free and their shoes. And so it's a really special event for our families. So we do the homecoming event. We have
Family Movie Day.
Yep.
The Grand Ledge Sun Theater has been very cooperative in offering, actually free of charge, their facility for us to bring in all of our families. And it's been neat because the last two times that we've held the movie day, we've had a family come up and say thank you, because this is the first time we've been able to bring our entire family and our child with special needs that may have now noises and stand up and clap, you know, at inappropriate times, and it's all accepted. It's okay. There's no quiet zones. Everything is just okay.
May I ask you something? I know that there are children with attachment disorder and reactive, all sorts of different kinds of problems where they will act out in public. And it makes it so, you're talking about the isolation of families. It makes it so difficult for families to go out. If I am at Meijer shopping and a family is dealing with a child who is having a difficult time, how do I best help you? By ignoring you? By helping you? What can I do? What can people in the community do? What's the appropriate reaction?
That has happened to us so many times I can't even begin to tell you. We definitely get the stares, but I think...
Yeah, and I don't want to do that, but I want to help somehow, and I don't know if there's anything I can do to help.
I mean, if anything's loud or, you know, unexpected, you are just prone to turn around and look and see, but I guess don't gawk and just always give families the benefit of the doubt, because our son looks very typical. He does. You wouldn't know there was anything wrong with him if you just happened to see us standing in a grocery store, but when he gets excited, he jumps, and he also oftentimes hand flaps. He doesn't do it so much as he used to when he was little. But we would tantrum. He would tantrum all the time. If somebody, our family, a typical trip to the store, we had to stay together down each aisle. And if a sibling took off the other way, he would scream. If you turned your head away that he didn't like, he would come back and turn your head in the other direction. And there were stairs. He was laying on the floor, looked like a snake.
We want you to know that we're on your side, and we want to show you support in any way we can. And thank you so much for coming in and telling us about No More Sidelines. This is Autism Month. Thank you for listening to LCC Radio WLNZ 89.7 here in Lansing, Michigan. You've been listening to the Bonnie and Bill Lansing Online News Radio Show. Join us next Monday night at 7 p.m. Thank you for tuning in.